Alright guys, welcome back to Best Friends the Sequel. My name's Mike. This is Dave, back again for another duo review. We just saw Godzilla x Kong New Empire, I think is the title. Or A New Empire? I don't know. Nobody's getting this title right. First impressions, what'd you think?
Well, it was not Godzilla -1.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this movie should have been called Kong's a Badass.
This movie should have been called anything but Godzilla x Kong A New Empire.
I could not agree more. I went into this movie with actually kind of mediocre expectations, and I felt that they were met.
I was going to ask if it was ADHD or if it was just boredom, because I did look over a couple of times. I'm like, is he on Amazon? So, yeah.
I was.
I know you were.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I would say, okay, so when you and I first talked about this movie 2 or 3 days ago, you said there was too much people.
Right.
Not enough monsters.
When the monsters are on screen, I think the monsters look good. I think the
CGI on the monsters. Yeah. The only special effects I have an issue with, it seems like they made it on purpose that when it was a miniature, it was very reflective of crayons out of a box.
Yeah.
It seemed like that's obviously a miniature. It was ridiculous.
Yeah,
But the monster CGI, phenomenal.
I thought Kong looked flawless.
Okay, so let's talk about Kong real quick.
And really, like, Kong obviously is the best part of
Anytime Kong was on screen, he stole that movie. Kong had more personality, and I cared more about that big ape than I did any person.
Godzilla, maybe I'm just thinking too much, but I felt like Godzilla had the least amount of personality.
Godzilla had no personality.
Yeah.
But the one scene where Kong gets his super Kong arm, right, and he starts punching Godzilla in the face, it just took me back to Avengers. When Tony Stark is in the super...
Oh yeah, go to sleep.
Go to sleep. The idea of Hollow Earth, I think, is really cool.
You know what would have been cooler about this movie is
anything?
They could have found a way to bring Kurt Russell back. That would have been cool.
Yeah. So pluses. Kong was great.
The little ape was great.
The little ape.
The little ape.
Yeah. And I would like to say, I thought they did a really good job of portraying Kong as being old.
Yeah.
And tired. He's definitely lonely. I don't know how spoiler-free we're doing this, but I feel like I'm not doing too bad of a job.
It's been long enough. I think we're fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a week. So when they're in the Hollow Earth and they find the uncharted area, and then they find the rest of Kong's species, who's basically being used as slave labor, and he gets pissed, rightfully so.
And I did like how that one ape got in his face, and of course he doesn't move. He's very stoic, and it's like, and then Kong's just like,
I just punches him, bam.
Yeah, just knocks him.
Okay, so what was your opinion of? I can't remember the creature's name, but the ice creature, the ancient, all-powerful creature. What was your opinion on that?
I don't remember the name of the creature either. I do think that, as far as the monsters, I think that one had the worst CGI. Some of it was okay. Some of it, I just wasn't consistent. Maybe they ran out of money.
It reminded me of a puppy dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when like all the apes are riding it. I'm like, well, that thing is small.
Yeah.
I will say Godzilla's atomic fire. And Godzilla's got this signature move ever since the first new Godzilla movie where he breathes fire down a creature's mouth.
Yeah.
I just love it when he does that.
That's kind of his go-to fatality.
That is his go-to fatality. Yeah, it's a Godzilla-ality.
Yeah. But like I said, as soon as they got back together, it was like, hey, I thought we knew each other, man. Until, Butterfly.
Well, I was just gonna say that. Yeah. So Mothra.
Yeah.
Mothra was a moth.
Yeah.
It was just like.
I think Mothra was a moth in the last movie,
but
right?
it was like such a moth.
Yeah,
it was
they went extra on the moth.
Yeah, it was Mothra was very mothy.
Yeah, I don't know if that necessarily connects us to the whole people down there, but I guess it was just when I watched it, it was like they didn't have enough confidence in the monsters, and they're like, we gotta have some really complicated, reason why there's this village down here, and they have mind control, and they're all deaf, but they also speak sign language.
Well, that gets me to something I was thinking about during the entire movie.
Yeah.
Lazy writing.
Yeah.
Just lazy writing. The whole thing was lazy writing.
A lot of lazy writing, which is funny because you have the scenes between Kong and Mini Kong, and even Kong and Godzilla, and they're able to convey a lot without speaking.
Yeah.
Do a full monster movie, and I think if you were talking to like the writers and everybody, and like, so why do we need the people? And they're like, did you not watch the movie? Kong had a toothache.
Yeah.
Who's gonna fix his tooth?
Who's gonna fix Kong's toothache?
Right, and then later in the movie he gets ice and he has frostbite and he needs the mechanical arm.
Yeah.
How is he going to survive without the mechanical arm?
I mean, yeah.
Which just happened to be completed before the funding ran out.
So that was a great scene in the movie.
And it also had like a jet attachment that like just transforms and
it was straight out of Avengers. Dude,
in case Kong's laying down when we need to put this on him.
He was an Iron Kong. Like when he would go to punch, it was like, and then like, jets would come out and make him punch harder. And I was just like, wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's supposed to be an Easter egg or just lazy writing.
I think someone else, another review that I watched, they said that when you see something like that, obviously he doesn't need that. Right, and I mean he had the axe, which he probably also doesn't need, but the axe is cool. But the reason for the glove is so they can sell the toy.
That's it. Referencing to what you said, Kong has a toothache, right?
Right.
He's old. He's got a bad tooth, and so he climbs out of Hollow Earth. He lays down, and he's like, and you can see he's got an abscess tooth that's got a big crack in it.
Right.
So they call in Super Chopper. With hippie vet dude.
So that guy, I don't know if you remember the A-Team.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He reminded me of the pilot from the A-Team.
Yeah, and so just total ridiculousness as he zip lines down, attaches some hooks or whatever to Kong's tooth. They rip it out. They put in like this super titanium tooth that the other Kong creatures make fun of him for. They did like a tooth replacement.
And, that's the other thing about, like, I liked that guy. It just, he doesn't make sense for him to be in this movie. Like, like his comedy, I thought he was funny.
But he was just so out of place.
Right.
It was just so out of place.
The other thing that I remember from watching the first time that was really out of place was the music throughout the movie.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like they were trying to go for like a Guardians of the Galaxy type feeling. But then like in the very next scene, they're like wiping out thousands of people.
Thousands of people!
I mean, I guess that happens in Guardians of the Galaxy too, but they do it right.
Yeah.
Like, because Guardians of the Galaxy commits to it. It's like the entire movie is supposed to be kind of a joke, and then there's like 2 or 3 serious moments in Guardians of the Galaxy, so you take those seriously.
Yeah.
But because there's all of this like random music that just like
was so out of place.
And
like, you know what? You're gonna insert a clip right now of that music.
Yeah.
And so you'll be able to see how out of place it was.
Probably like 3 seconds of it, because any more than that and I'll get a copyright strike.
Well, we don't want that.
I was made for loving you, baby.
So, did you think in the one scene where Little Kong goes in there and he's playing in the water, and then King Kong comes in, it seemed like Little Kong was trying to lure
Absolutely.
the King Kong in there so that that creature would attack him.
Yeah, 100%.
And then he's like, I'm running away, bitches. And then all of a sudden, the head of the creature falls.
Right.
And he's like, oh, dude, this jacked up.
Right.
You know what else I wish they would have done is, while it was in the movie and it definitely conveyed the power it had, they needed to do more with Kong's axe.
Yeah, I mean, and they kind of did a lot in Godzilla versus Kong with it. I mean, kind of. But yeah, in this movie, he just carried it, and it wasn't really used for anything.
They did a great job of portraying Evil Kong as just being a dickhead.
Yeah.
Like, I did not like him.
Right.
Right, and so when Kong beat his ass, I was like, he deserved that.
Yeah.
Like, I cared more for the monsters.
Yeah.
They built those characters more than they did any of the human characters other than the little girl.
The only thing that about Evil Kong and the whole slave labor thing they had going on down there is they tell in the story that Godzilla like trapped them down there.
Right.
And Evil Kong is obsessed with getting back to the surface. But I didn't see any reason why they couldn't leave whenever they want.
at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got the ice monster, which is chained up for some reason. And I mean, obviously, King Kong was able to get all the way from where he was to their house, to their underground cave area. So I don't see why they couldn't go back to the surface. And there's clearly portals all over the place.
So I need you to explain this to me. There's a part in the movie where the Aborigine type tribe has this liquid that when they put it in the water,
Yeah.
it creates a mechanism that makes the two pyramids come together that are underground.
Yeah.
And then everything goes anti-grav for a minute.
Right.
Why?
The only explanation that I heard was that gravity is their technology.
But it's an easy fix. One line of dialogue. Thank God we invented the, whatever device.
But it only lasts for like a minute and a half.
Right.
But what was the point of it? It did nothing.
It was supposed to buy them time, like, because they were trying to keep Evil Kong and all the Evil Kongs from getting to the surface, and that was supposed to give them, buy them some time, but really it seemed to just get in the way of the fight.
100% it got in the way. It served zero purpose.
I was trying to figure out, like, Aborigine girl goes up to the top of the pyramid, and of course she's the one that has to do it, right?
Right.
And she gets to the top, and then she touches air or something.
Yeah.
And then it looked like Mothra just warped into existence.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what you saw.
Yeah.
Okay.
What purpose did Mothra serve?
Mothra got in between Kong and Godzilla and went. And then Godzilla was like, oh, "Okay, we gotta go and help." Okay.
So yeah, because King Kong saying stop.
Yeah.
We pointing to the portal.
Yeah.
I don't want to fight you. That was not.
No, because Godzilla was like, "I told you not to come back up here. What did I tell you?"
Godzilla's like, you rolling in my hood.
And then Mothra was like, "No, he's here for a reason." Godzilla was like, "Oh, okay, you're right, babe. I'm sorry."
Dude, I would have taken Mothra more serious if it was such a moth. Like, if you went outside and grabbed a moth and showed it to the camera,
There should be
that's exactly what Mothra looked like, but glowing gold.
There should be like a bad lip reading of like this movie, and then Mothra can be like, "What you doing, Godzilla?" And he's like, man, I told you Kong was up in my grill, man. And he's like, "Nah, man, he was here because there's some stuff going down."
Yeah.
And Godzilla's like, "I'm sorry, baby."
And King Kong's like, I'm just trying to talk.
Godzilla's like, "I didn't know that. Like, you came up here, man. You hit me with the glove. That was after you hit me."
Yeah, you hit me with your Hulk glove.
Yeah.
You knocked out my bitch tooth.
Yeah.
Oh, which, by the way, funny scene. Kong knocks out Bad Kong's tooth.
Yeah.
Which was funny because it was just what, Iron Hulk Buster did to Hulk.
Right.
Which was also good because Evil Kong was making fun of King Kong's tooth. So that was kind of cute. They did not do a good job in the beginning of portraying how tall King Kong is. Because in the beginning, he's like 50 feet tall.
Yeah.
And then he makes his way to the surface and he's like skyscrapers tall.
I didn't have a problem with that because I thought that just gave off the scale of where he lives, So I didn't have a problem with that because I was like, okay, compared to down here where everything is gigantic, including all the other monsters he has to fight, yeah, he looks like he's normal size. As soon as he gets up there, he's as tall as a building. Just like Little Kong, like when he gets up there, like he's being thrown through buildings too.
Yeah, everything was thrown through a building.
And when they were taking out all the buildings, I just like in my head I was just like, there's a little bit of Godzilla in all of us, and that's
So you know what was going through my head? Because they're like, in one part of the movie, like, Godzilla's helping us. He's battling all the monsters. I'm like, Godzilla doesn't give a shit about us. Yeah. Godzilla does Godzilla.
Yeah.
And if you're in the way, he will purposefully step on your
right.
He will 100% step on your
unless you're in the Coliseum.
Well, that's his bed.
Right.
He's not going to destroy the Coliseum. He curls up like a cat in the Coliseum and takes a nap. What was the point of him charging up constantly throughout the movie? They made it a point to explain that he was extra charging himself. Why?
Well, because he could sense the signal that was coming from Hollow Earth, and it was an SOS signal, and he knew, well, it's an SOS, that means I got to charge.
Oh, okay.
So that's why he was charging up.
Yeah, but then he felt the need to beat Kong's ass for he's stepping on his corner.
This is my street. You can't be on my street.
Yeah. Okay.
So if
I liked the last half of it.
Yeah, I don't know about the last half.
Okay,
maybe the last quarter. Yeah.
Yeah, I have the last quarter.
What would you rate the story of this movie? How would you describe the story?
That's a tough question because the Kong parts, I loved every single bit of it.
Well, right. I mean, I liked the Kong parts, but did it drive the story forward?
No.
Did any of it drive the story?
No.
Like when I first saw it, I was like, okay. I mean, there were some cool fights. I guess the ice monster is now part of the monster universe now. But other than that, I mean, we know that there's more apes down there, and I guess Kong is now the leader of those apes. So
Yeah, he's finally found his home.
and I guess Godzilla got a power up, but he could have gotten a power up anytime.
Godzilla gets a new power every damn movie he's
Yeah.
in. They create some new shit for him. Every movie. Look,
And it's probably going to wear off by the next movie.
there has only been one bad Godzilla movie, and that was Godzilla in 1985 with Matthew Broderick, where it was basically a raptor
Right.
from Jurassic Park. So
Oh yeah, I just watched this. I just saw that again.
It's horrible.
It was
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, he's like 25 feet tall, and there's nothing special about him. So anything other than that movie that Godzilla is in is Godzilla can do no wrong. He just doesn't give a shit anybody other than himself.
Yeah. But yeah, so I would say story. I don't think the story really got driven forward at all.
No.
There was nothing original or interesting really about it. The only thing that they might take if they continue this franchise is that now Kong is now actual King Kong because he's king of all the other apes down there in Hollow Earth.
So now he's actually King Kong.
Godzilla, he just, did his Godzilla thing and then went back to sleep in the Coliseum. So what would you give story out of 10?
I would give it a 3.
3?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably 3. 3 sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because nothing happened with the story. It's not meant to be a story movie, so that's not going to get a high score.
The only part of the minimalistic story there was leading to the super fight at the end.
Yeah.
Which lasted 5 minutes.
Yeah, and if anything, because they tried to cram this human story, the human element, like down our throats, because we don't have confidence that these people are going to just enjoy a monster movie. So they had to inject this human story. That actually makes it lose points. So that's why it gets why it goes down to a 3. As far as special effects, I mean, so like now that I'm doing this and like thinking about other movies, so like Avatar's a 10, right?
Every day.
Right, so Avatar's a 10, Way of Water. So if we're comparing the special effects, I don't think there's anything to complain about with the special effects.
Other than the obvious use of miniatures.
Yeah.
Obvious.
Yeah.
Maybe that was kind of their retro way of showing some retro type stuff. But I will say special effects, if Avatar's a 10,
Yeah.
with what they did with Hollow Earth and all that, I would give it a 7.
7's good. Yeah. Next up would be music. So as far as, I mean, the
That's
music
tough.
itself.
I liked it. It was just out of place.
Right.
It was.
So, but if we're scoring it individually and we're not like, oh, it's out of place, like the music I really enjoyed. If there was a soundtrack to this movie,
Yeah.
you'd probably like all the songs.
Wasn't it the same song? Because I thought to myself, this needs to be Fortunate Son. Down now,
Right.
down now. But instead it was some weird 70s song that was kind of like,
And like for me,
maybe they couldn't afford
all those like
songs.
the 70s kind of and 80s songs, whatever, that stuff was out of place. But for me, the thing that stuck out almost more was they had this like epic orchestral type music when like Mothra shows up
Yeah.
and then they go here and it's like it's not epic. You want us to think it's epic, but it's not. So that, I don't know. So I think that makes it lose a point a little bit because that was out of place. But so yeah, I don't know. I guess I'd still like give it a little bit of a higher score. Maybe music. I'll give it a C, like a 7.
I would totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I was going to say 7. So 7's good. Cool.
Acting.
God, dude, King Kong did a great job
Yeah.
of acting. The actors did a really good job with what they were given.
So maybe like the acting was okay. It was just the directing and the writing.
Yeah, the writing was horrible.
Right.
So acting, I mean, it was good. I'd give it an 8.
Give it an 8.
Yeah.
I can live with that. An 8.
Okay.
Yeah. What else do I?
Writing.
Well, writings. I don't usually do writing.
Oh, let's do it
My
now.
score. You want to do writing?
I want to do writing.
Let's throw in writing.
Yeah, writing.
Okay. So
Okay.
writing. What would you give writing?
Oh, a 1.
A 1.
Yeah, maybe a 2.
I don't know if I'd go that low because I've seen some pretty bad movies with some pretty bad writing.
Okay.
So I don't know if I'd go that far down because the writing was at least enough to like move things along, even though it was bad and it didn't really make sense. So I don't know. I think writing for me, I'd give it like a 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I will say this before I give my overall rating.
Yeah.
I I liked it enough that the last third of it was fun to watch.
Yeah.
And I would encourage people to go see it so that they hopefully make a good one next.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of potential to have a really good movie.
So that kind of leads me into the last one that I usually do, which is rewatchability. So do you think you would watch this again, like, for fun? Just by, I still think most of the movies that I've watched, like Sausage Party that I just reviewed, I wouldn't watch that again.
Or on purpose.
The only reason that I would watch it again is for the shock factor of showing it to someone else.
I would watch this movie again to show it to somebody who was interested in it.
Right.
But I wouldn't watch it again on purpose.
Right.
By myself.
Right.
Yeah.
So then in that sense, I think rewatchability for this one. I mean, honestly, if I was thinking about watching Godzilla X Kong, I would probably be like, why would I watch that when I could watch Godzilla versus Kong?
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
Because that's more fun to me. So I think rewatchability, I don't know, maybe I'd give that like a 5.
I just wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Let's just go with a 2.
Sure. So usually I average all those scores out, and maybe I'll do that for mine at the end. But overall score, what would you give this movie?
A 6.
A 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm probably hovering somewhere around a 6. I mean, the action was really fun. I really enjoyed that. If there was just more action, more monsters, and if they just took the humans out altogether and just all monsters, and you could still drive the plot forward. They can still look at each other and be like,
One other thing that kind of bothered me.
yeah.
Do you remember in that first Godzilla remake movie when that super monster, whatever, that looked like a creature from Starship Troopers was attacking the airport?
Yeah.
And there's that tram. And then all of a sudden, everyone looks up and there's Godzilla's feet.
Right.
And then it pans up to Godzilla and there was that, oh, it's about to get it on now, baby.
Right.
And Godzilla goes into super beast mode.
Right.
It was missing that moment. Even when Kong and Godzilla came down the portal and they're running side by side like it's a cop buddy movie.
Yeah.
It wasn't epic.
The other thing too, and again, I don't know why I focus on this. It's just one of probably many plot holes. But when
No way, not in this movie.
when King Kong was holding Evil Kong up in the air, and then Icezilla, Icezilla,
I liked it.
and Icezilla freezes Evil Kong while King Kong is holding him. I'm like, I know that there's a lot of robot arm around his hand, but shouldn't that be really messing up his hand?
I thought the same thing.
And also, why is it that Godzilla can be completely frozen and just shake it off, and then King Kong can be semi-frozen and shake it off the hand?
So let's be clear about one thing. You cannot hurt Godzilla. Period. You just can't. He's
Right.
too much of a badass.
Right.
You can knock Godzilla down, but he'll get up every time. The Hollow Earth reminded me a lot of Pandorum.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like everything is trying to kill you.
Yeah.
And everything is super gigantic.
Yeah.
And bulletproof.
That scene where the tree eats the guy. When I think about like the writing with that, they were just sitting around like there's too many people for the final boss. Like we gotta find a way to get rid of this guy.
And then we'll have the hippie guy say, something doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
And then we'll have soldier guy say, I'm gonna trust my technology.
Yeah, this movie was all over the place, but I still
Kind of
think,
like this review. Yeah.
But I don't know. I still think you should probably go see this in the theater. Because if you are going to see it, you should see it on the big screen. And if you have any interest in this franchise going forward,
Please see
then
it.
you should support it by buying a movie ticket.
Yeah.
So and see it on the big screen. You probably don't need to see it more than once, but if you want to see more Godzilla and Kong movies, then go to the theater, because you're not funding a Godzilla movie by paying $10 a month for Amazon Prime.
No. And no. And
Go to the
Amazon
theater.
Prime would probably cut 10 minutes out, like they did with Riddick.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, all right. Well done.
Cool. So that's it for the review. If you guys like this, definitely subscribe. We were trying to get to 100 faster than we got to 50. If you want to see more of this guy, let us know in the comments if you guys want us to do more reviews together. But with all that being said, thanks for stopping by. See you guys next time. Peace.